Okay, today is 25 to 58. That's for today. Okay. Here. Where did I go? No, this is on my list. That's it. 325. 25. And here. Naurabhutva. Where is that? Okay, somewhere here. Naurabhutva. Tuttada Devi. Okay, there's a different numbering system here. And this we'll follow this the video. Okay, I hope everyone can hear me. Now Bhutva Tuttada Devi. Mahi Yadukulodvaha Dharayat Yatabijani Sarvanyeva Visheshataha Bhavishyas Chamanustatra Bhavishya Rishyastatha Tishtanti Rajashardula Saptatte Prathitam Bhuvi Matsurupadharo Vishnu Shringi Bhutva Jagatpatihi Akarshyati Tu Tam Navam Sthanat Sthanam Tu Leelaya. Mahidevi, Dharatishtanti. Okay. Oh, hero of the Yadu clan. This is all continuing from Markandeya to Vajra. Oh, hero of the Yadu clan, the goddess Earth then assumes the form of a boat and carries the seeds of every species of life. O lion among kings, the future Manu and 7 sages who will assume their positions on the earth take their place on this boat. Vishnu, the Lord of the universe, assumes the form of a fish with a horn on his head, and he enjoys the pastime of pulling the boat from one place to another. Mahadevi Dharathishthatri Varahapatni, the goddess who rules the earth, is Lord Varaha's wife. Rishiyas, Saptetyanvayaha. And the sages refer to the 7 sages. Her husband, in his form as the most excellent of fishes, shares with her this pastime of saving the seeds of all forms of life. Himadri Shikhare Navam Badhva Devo Jagatpatihi Matsyastwadrishyo Bhavati Tech Tishtanti Tatraga Kritatulyam Tatah Kalam Yavat Prakshalanam Smritam Apashamam Mathoyanti Yathapurvam Naradhipa Rishayascha Manushchaiva Sarvam Kurvanti Te Tada Iti. Matsya, the Lord of the universe, disappeared after securing the boat to a peak in the Himalayan range, and the boat's passengers disembarked. The world had been cleansed by the flood, and thus became as it had been during the Krita age. Krita age is the Satya Yuga. The waters subsided, returning to their usual calm condition, O king, and Manu and the sages then did what was required. At the end of the inundation, a new Manvantara began. The next Manu and the 7 new rishis began to beget progeny and provide them with all required guidance and protection. Why I'm not able to move this thing? Okay. Manorante layonasti manave darshimayaya Vishnuneti Bruvanayistu Swamibhir Naishamanyate. Something's wrong with the mouse. Sridhar Swami, however, does not agree with this account. He says that annihilation does not occur at the end of Manu's life, and that Lord Vishnu only made a show for Vaivasvata Manu with his illusory energy. Atra Sridhar Swaminam Matamaha Manoriti. Sridhara Swamipad expresses his opinion in commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.15 and 8.24.46. He contends that the universe is flooded not at the end of the Manvantaras, but only at the end of Brahma's day. He writes that Vaivasvata Manu experienced a universal flood as something like a dream. Mayayeti swapnikavat pratitika ityartha. Under the influence of the Supreme Lord's Maya. The Vishnu Dharmottara, however, gives a different opinion. So we find that Sridhar Swami has another opinion. On what basis is Sridhar Swami saying this? It took me several years to deal with this. But what I discovered was, if you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 12th canto, there is a whole chapter which talks about annihilation in the universe. And I will not read out the entire chapter. You can read it at your free time. Canto 12, chapter 4. And I will just point out that Bhagavatam talks about 4 types of annihilation: constant, occasional, material, and final. 1,000 cycles of 4 ages constitutes 1 day of Brahma, and each day of Brahma, called a Kalpa, contains within it the lifetimes of 14 Manus. The duration of Brahma's night is the same as that of his day. During his night, Brahma sleeps and the 3 planetary systems meet destruction. This is the Naimittika or occasional annihilation. When Brahma's lifespan of 100 years is finished, there occurs the Prakritika or total material annihilation. Okay. When a person achieves knowledge of the Absolute, he understands factual reality. He perceives the entire created universe as separate from the Absolute and therefore unreal. That is called the Atyantika or final annihilation, liberation. In other words, his experience of the material world ceases. At every moment, time invisibly transforms the bodies of all created beings and all other manifestations of matter. This process of transformation causes a living entity to undergo the constant annihilation of birth and death. So birth and death themselves are considered to be annihilation of the previous situations. So Bhagavatam, it talks only about 4 types of pralayas, 4 types of annihilations. One is constant, which is happening due to time. At all points in time, this is happening. Occasional, every day of Brahma. Material, every life of Brahma. And final, when you attain liberation, then that is considered to be also annihilation. It is annihilation of for you. You're getting out. Your contact with the material existence is annihilated. So Bhagavatam only talks about these 4. Bhagavatam does not deal with other types of annihilation. And Sridhar Swami, we know very well. It's a standard acharya who promotes the teachings of Bhagavatam everywhere. Even while commenting on Vishnu Purana, he remembers the teachings of Bhagavatam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original form of Lord Vishnu. So if you look at it from this perspective, then you understand why Sridhar Swami does not consider what Vaivasvata Manu experienced to be annihilation. Shri Matsyaha, Shri Prathame, Rupam sa Jagrihe Matsyam, Chakshisho Dathi Samplave, Navyaropyam Mahimayam Apadvaivasvatam Manu. Shri Matsya is described in the first canto when there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was submerged in water. The Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasvata Manu, keeping him on a boat that was actually at the earth. He goes back to his original topic. Chakshusha Manvantarante ya udhati samplavastasmin matsyam rupam sa jagrihe prakatitavan. So the Supreme Lord, he revealed this Matsya form. Vaivasvatam bhavitan namanam satyavratam apat palitavan. He protected Satyavrata, who would become the future Vaivasvata Manu. Shri Dutiye cha Matsyo Yuganta Samaye Mananopalabdha Kshoni Mayo Nikhila Jiva Nikaya Ketah Visramsita Nurubhaye Salile Mukhan Me Adaya Tatra Vijahara Veda Margan. And in the second canto, at the end of the millennium, Satyavrata, the future Vaivasvata Manu, saw the Lord in his fish incarnation as the shelter of the earth and all kinds of living entities. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of the millennium, the teachings of the Vedas come out of my mouth. The Lord enjoyed those vast waters and protected the Vedas. So he protected the Vedas that had come out of Brahma's mouth. Tatra Yuganta Salile Vijahara. And he sported in the waters of dissolution. Padmecha Evamukto Rishikesho Brahmana Parameshwara Matsya Rupam Samasthaya Vivesham Mahodadhimiti. And in the Padma Purana, thus addressed by Brahma, the Supreme Lord Rishikesha assumed the form of a fish and entered the great ocean. Brahma had prayed to the Supreme Lord, "O protector of the Vedas, a demon stole the Vedas as they emanated from my mouth. Please save us. Mama Mukhad Veda Daityana Krita Veda Palaka Raksha Ityadyukta Ityarthaha." So then the Supreme Lord, he assumed the form of a fish and entered the great ocean. Srimad Bhagavatam's account of Lord Matsya's pastimes is found in the 8th canto, chapter 24. Matsyopi pradurabhavad dvih kalpesmin varahavat adau swayam bhuviyasya daityam ghanan naharashrutihi antetu chakshushyasya kripam satyam vrate karot. Like Lord Varaha, Lord Matsya has appeared twice in this day of Brahma. He first appeared at the beginning of Swayambhuva's reign when he killed a demon and recovered the Vedas, the Shruti. His second appearance occurred at the end of the Chakshusha Manvantara when he showed mercy to Satyavrata. Sankirnam Matsya Charitam Vibhajati. So previously, Lord Matsya's activities were integrated. Now he individually distinguishes the different pastimes of the Lord. Asmin Brahme Kalpe Matsyo Dvishpradarabu. In Brahma Kalpa, current Kalpa, Lord Matsya has appeared twice. Swayambhuviyasya Manvantarasya Adav, Shruti Chauram Daityam Hayagrivam Ghanan Vinashayan, Shrutihi Aharat Anitavan. So first, in the Swayambhuva Manvantara, he destroyed the horse-necked demon who had stolen the Shruti. And that way he got the Shruti back. Chakshusiyasya tu tasya ante satyavrate kripamakarot. At the end of the Chakshusha Manvantara, he showed mercy to Satyavrata. During the first Manvantara of this Brahmakalpa, a demon named Hayagriva stole. What is this mouse? What is wrong with this mouse? A demon named Hayagriva stole the Vedas from Brahma. Lord Matsya then killed the demon and recovered the Vedas. At the very end of the sixth Manvantara, Lord Matsya appeared again. This time he protected the future Manu and others. Antyena sarthapadyena proktam madhyasya cheshtitam purvasarthena chantyasya matsyo gyeyo varahavat. As descriptions of Lord Varaha's appearances have been combined, so have the descriptions of Lord Matsya's. The first verse and a half describe the activities of Lord Matsya's second avatar, and the second verse and a half describe those of his first avatar. So now he specifies the sources of information pertaining to them. 3 verses about Lord Matsya have been quoted here from Srimad Bhagavatam and the Padma Purana. The last half of the second canto verse, beginning with the words Visramsita Nurubhaye, and the Padma Purana verse refer to the Matsya Avatara who killed Hayagriva. This Hayagriva is a demon named Hayagriva and delivered the Vedas. The first canto verse and the first half of the second canto verse refer to the other Matsya's compassionate dealings with King Satyavrata. Okay. Upalakshanameva itat anyam manvantarasya cha Vishnu dharmottaragyaya pradurbhavas chaturdasha. These verses give only a partial indication of Lord Matsya's descents, which also occur in the other Manvantaras. From the Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, we learned that he has 14 appearances. Na chaitat padyatrayad matsyasya dvireva vyaktihi. Now from these 3 verses, one should not conclude that Lord Matsya had appeared only twice. Kintu, twice in this day of Brahma. Kintu sarvam manvantarante tad vyaktiriti mantavyam. Rather, one should understand that he appears at the end of every manvantara. Therefore, he says this is an upalakshana. This is only an indication. It's not an exhaustive description. Vachanika Maha Vishnu Dharma. So the evidence for that is Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. Tathasha Matsyasya Pratikalpam Chaturdasha Kritvaha Vyaktiriti. Therefore, we conclude that Lord Matsya appears 14 times in every kalpa. Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan adds that there are 14 Matsya avatars, not only in the current kalpa, but in every day of Brahma. Shri Yagyaha, Shri Prathame, Tatah Saptama Akutyam Rucher Yagyobhyajayata, Sayamadhyai Suraganai Rapat Swayam Bhuvantaramiti. Shri Yagya is described in the first canto. The 7th incarnation was Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi, and his wife Akuti. He ruled over the period of Swayambhuva and was assisted by the Yamas and other demigods. Yamadhyai, Suputrai. So Yama and others were the Lord's sons. The demigods collectively called the Yamas were Lord Yagya's sons. Lord Yagya helped Swayambhuva Manu manage the universe by taking the post of Indra. Swayam Indro Bhut. He personally became Indra at that time. Trayanam eva lokanam Maharti Haranadaso Mata Mahena Manuna Harirrityapi Shabditaha. Because Lord Yagya relieved the three worlds from great distress, his maternal grandfather Manu called him Hari. Sri Brahma describes Lord Yagya in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jato ruchera janayat suyaman suyagya akuti sunuramaran atha dakshinayam lokatrayasya mahati maharadyadhartim swayam bhuvena manuna harirityanuptah. The Prajapati Ruchi first begot Suyagya, Lord Yagya, in the womb of his wife Akuti, and then Suyagya begot the demigods known as the Yamas in the womb of his wife Dakshina. Suyagya, as the Indradev, diminished extreme miseries in the three planetary systems, upper, lower, and intermediate, and for this reason he was later called Hari by the great father of mankind, Swayambhuva Manu. Shri Narannarayana Tatraiva Turye Dharma Kala Sarge Narannarayana Vrishi Bhutvatmopashamopetam Makarodushcharam Tapaha. Shri Naranarayana are also described in the first canto. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. In these forms, he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. Dharmasya Kala Bhagaha Tadbharya Ityartha. Kala literally means fraction, or in this context, Dharma's better half, his wife. Ardhova Esha Atmano Yat Patni. One's wife is half of oneself. Iti Shravanat, because the Shruti says that. Tasya Sarge Sadevo Naranarayana Rishi Bhutva Ityartha Anyat Prakatartha. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopakumar hears the glories of Lord Naranarayana from Pipalayana Rishi. In the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami describes how Narada worshipped Naranarayana at Badrikashram. In chapter 8 of the Bhagavatam's 12th canto, Suta Goswami tells how the sage Markandeya earned a visit from Naranarayana by avoiding the temptations of Cupid. Lord Brahma describes the incarnation of Naranarayana as follows. Dharmasya daksha dukhitar yajanishtamurtyam narayano nara iti swatapah prabhavah drishtvat mano bhagavato niyamavalopam devyastvananga pratana ghatitum nasheku. To exhibit his own way of austerity and penance, he appeared in twin forms as Narayana and Nara in the womb of Murti, the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauties, the companions of Cupid, went to try to break his vows, but they were unsuccessful, for they saw that many beauties like themselves were emanating from him, the personality of God. Kamam dahanti kritino nanurosha drishtya rosham dahantamutate na dahantya sahyam soyam yadantaram alam pravishan bibheti kamav katham nupunarasya manashrayeta. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can by their wrathful glances overcome lust and vanquish him, yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind? Shastrenyau Hari Krishna Hyau Anayo Sodaros Smrito Ebhireko Vatarasya Chaturbhis Sanakadivat Vishyantramaha Shastre iti Narayaniye iti Bodhyam. The scriptures mention two brothers of Naranarayana named Hari and Krishna. These four together make one incarnation like Sanaka and his brothers. So this is stated in the Narayaniya. Narayaniya is a portion of Moksha Dharma. Moksha Dharma is the portion of the Mahabharata. The Narayaniya speaks of Naranarayana's two brothers who became householders. Eto Grihinau Babhuvu, Babhuvatuhu iti tatreva uchyate. That is stated there. Shri Kapilaha tatreva. Panchamah Kapilo Nama Siddhesha Kala Viplutam Provachasu Raye Sankyam Tattvagrama Vinirnayamiti. Shri Kapila is also described in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto. The 5th incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time, this knowledge had been lost. Lord Kapila, wait. Tattvagramasya prakrityadi tattvavargasya sappurushasya vivekena nirnayo yatra tat. So he spoke the Sankhya philosophy in which there is a distinct presentation of the various elements such as Prakriti along with the Purusha. That kind of Sankhya. He taught this to a Vipra whose name was Asuri. Lord Kapila taught about how to distinguish the elements of creation that evolved from Prakriti and about her Lord and controller, the Purusha. Devahutyam kardamatah pradurbhavam asau gatah proktah Kapila varanatva Kapilakyo virinchina. He appeared in the womb of Devahuti through the semen of Kardama. Because of his reddish complexion, Lord Brahma named him Kapila. Okay, wait. Nano Shri Bhagavatoktah Kapila Seshwaraha Sa Katham Nirishwaram Sankyam Akarot Iti Sandeham Chetumaha Kapila iti. But according to Shri Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila is a theist. He is not atheist. So how is it that he produced this atheistic Sankhya doctrine to destroy this doubt? Shri Rupa Goswami, he presents this verse beginning Kapila. Padme Kapilo Vasudevamshas Tattvam Sankyam Jayadaha Brahmadibhyascha Devebhyo Bhridvadibhyas Tathaiva Cha Tathaivasu Raye Sarva Vedarthai Rupa Brahmitam. In the Padma Purana it is said, Lord Kapila, a partial expansion of Vasudeva, spoke the science of Sankhya to the demigods headed by Brahma, to the sages headed by Bhrigu, and to Asuri. That science was replete with all the purports of the Vedas. It was in line with the Vedas. Sarva Veda Viruddham Cha Kapilonya Jagadaha Sankhya Masu Rayenyasmai Kutarka Paribrahmitam. A different Kapila spoke to a different Asuri, a Sankhya philosophy contrary to the Vedas and full of bad logic. Anyastu Jivo Agnivamshajaha. Okay. Vasudevaha Kardamihi Kapilaha. So that Kapila, who appeared as a son of Kardama, he is Lord Vasudeva. Whereas the one who was born in the dynasty of Agni, he was just a Jiva. Yaduktam Vanaparvane. That is stated in Vanaparva. Agnivamsha Varne Markandeyana. It is stated by Markandeya Rishi while describing the dynasty of Agni. To resolve the confusion about whether Kapila Avatar was also the author of the well-known atheistic Sankhya, the Padma Purana explains that the atheist Kapila was a different person, a Jiva who used the same name and promoted a similar but deviant philosophy. The son of Devahuti taught Sankhya principles perfectly consistent with the Vedas and Upanishads, but the other Kapila invented his own ideas without following Vedic authority. According to a statement of Markandeya Rishis in the Mahabharata, the atheist Kapila was a powerful descendant of the fire god. Kapilam Paramarshimcha Yam Prahur Yatayah Sada Agnisat Kapilo Nama Sankhya Yoga Pravartakaha. Self-controlled renunciants often refer to Kapila as an exalted sage. He was one of the fire gods descended from Agni, appearing with the name Kapila to institute the Sankhya Yoga system. Tathacha Namamatrena na Bhramitavyam. So one should not become confused just by seeing the similarity in names. Lord Brahma mentions the original Lord Kapila, son of Devahuti, in his summary of the principal Leela avatars. Jagye Chakardama Grihe Dvijadevahutyaam Stribhis Samam Navabhiraatmagatim Swamatre Uche Yayatmashamalam Gunasangapankam Asmin Vidhuya Kapilasya Gatim Prapede. The Lord then appeared as the Kapila incarnation, being the son of the Prajapati Brahmana Kardama and his wife Devahuti, along with 9 other women, his sisters. He spoke to his mother about self-realization, by which in that very lifetime she became fully cleansed of the mud of the material modes and thereby achieved liberation. The path of Kapila. The demigod Aryama and other residents of Hiranmaya worship praise Lord Kapila with these words. Yasmin asankheya visheshanama rupakritau kavibhih kalpiteyam sankhya tattvad drishapaniyate tasmai namah sankhyan nidarshanayate. O my Lord, your name, form, and bodily features are expanded in countless forms. No one can determine exactly how many forms exist. Yet you yourself in your incarnation as the learned scholar Kapila Deva have analyzed the cosmic manifestation as containing 24 elements. Therefore, if one is interested in Sankhya philosophy, by which one can enumerate the different truths, he must hear it from you. Unfortunately, non-devotees simply count the different elements and remain ignorant of your actual form. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. The Bhagavatam describes how the sons of Sagar, while searching for their father's sacrificial horse, came upon Lord Kapila at his ashrama and attacked him, resulting in their bodies suddenly burning to ashes. Explained in detail in Valmiki Ramayana. Shri Dattaha, Shri Dvitiya, Atre Rapatyam Abhikankshata Ahatushto Datto Mayahamiti Yad Bhagavan Sadatta Yatpada Pankaja Paraga Pavitra Deha Yogarthima Purubhayim Yaduhai Hayadya. Shri Datta is described in the 2nd canto. The great sage Atri prayed for offspring, and the Lord, being satisfied with him, promised to incarnate as Atri's son Dattatreya. And by the grace of the lotus feet of the Lord, many persons like Yadu and Haihaya became so purified that they obtained both material and spiritual blessings. Maya ahameva tubhyam datta iti yad bhagavanaha tatassanamna datto bhavat. So the Supreme Lord had said, now I am giving myself to you. Therefore, he assumed that, therefore he got the name Datta. Dattatreya means the one who gave himself to Atri and became a son of Atri. The Supreme Lord told Atri, I give myself to you, and thus the Lord appeared with the name Datta, the given one. Ubhai, Bhoga Moksha Rupam. So they could attain both material and spiritual blessings. Haihaya, Kartavirya. The Haihaya mentioned here is the famous Kartavirya Arjuna. Kartavirya's history comes in different places. Very powerful person. Shri Prathame, Shashtham Atrera Patyatvam Vratah Prapto Nasuyaya Anvikshiki Malarkaya Prahlada Dibhya Uchivan Iti. And in the 1st canto, the 6th incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlada, and others. Anvishikim Atmavidya, subject of transcendence. He spoke about that. Shri Brahmande tu Kathitam Atri Patnyanasu Yaya Prathito Bhagavan Atre Rapatyatvam Upehivan. Shri Brahmanda Purana also relates that the Supreme Lord became Atri's son in answer to the prayers of Atri's wife Anasuya. He reinforces the teachings, reinforces the information that we have received in the 1st canto. Swechaya Manushakaro Vigraho Yasasa Abhedevi Bheda Vyapadesho Visheshan Bodhyaha. Swechaya Manusha. Okay, we'll come to that. The Brahmanda Purana reaffirms the description given in the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atri Muni and Anasuya each prayed for Lord Dattatreya's appearance, but Atri prayed for a son like the Lord, whereas his wife wanted the Lord himself to become her son. Atrina tat sadrisha putrotpatti matram prakadam prarthita. Partitad iti चतुर्थ्याद्यभिप्रायः वाक्ये तु अनसूया साक्षात् पुत्रत्वं प्रार्थितम्. But Anasuya wanted the Lord himself as a son. Poshakam tu Brahmanda Vakyam. The fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam recounts how Atri and Anasuya obtained as their sons Lord Dattatreya and his brothers Soma and Durvasa. Tatahi Varam Dattva Anasuya Yai Vishnu Sarva Jaganmaya Atre Putro Bhavattasyam Svecha Manusha Vigraha Dattatreya iti Kyato Yativesha Vibhushitaha. Having given a benediction to Anasuya, Lord Vishnu, in whom reside all the universes, entered her womb as a son of Atri and appeared in human form by his own sweet will. Known as Dattatreya, he was adorned with the dress of a sannyasi. Svechaya Manusha Akaraha Vigraha Yasyasa. So he had a form which resembled a human being by his own wish, by his own sweet will. So he appeared in a human form means he appeared in a form that resembles a human being. Abhedepi Bheda Vyapadesho Visheshat Bodhyaha. So whenever you come across statements like he appeared in a human form, he himself is that form. So when you come across statements like he appeared in this form, he appeared in that form, which appears to talk about the difference between himself and his form, that is by the principle of Vishesha, variety. So in one place it says that he attained the status of sonhood of Atri, and another place it says he actually became a son. This is because Anasuya wanted him as a son, Atri wanted him like a son. So the first canto verse says that he became like a son. The second canto verse says he became a son. Sri Hayashirsha Shri Dvitiye Satre Mamasa Bhagavan Hayashirashatho Sakshat Sayagya Purushastapaniya Varna Chando Mayo Mahamayo Kila Devatatma Vacho Babhuva Rushati Shwasatos Yanastah Iti. Shri Hayashirsha. This is Lord Hayagriva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Hayagriva, is described in the second canto. The Lord appeared as the Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, spoken by Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the super soul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. Dharmaraj son Bhadrashrava worships Lord Hayashirsha in Bhadrashva Varsha. That worship is described in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Pradurbhuya Isha Yagyagner. How much am I supposed to deal with today? Up to 58. Okay. Pradurbhuyaish Yagyagner Danavo Madhukaitabhau Hatva Pratyanayadvedan Punarvag Ishwari Patihi. Manifesting from the sacrificial fire, that Lord of the goddess of speech killed the demons Madhu and Kaitabha and brought back the Vedas. Okay. So this Hayagriva form is worshipped in the Madhva line and in the northern branch of the Ramanuja line. and they have special devotion to Lord Hyagreva. Some of the Madhvas, not all, some of them. Madhirajatins as followers, and in the Ramanuja line, Vedanta Deshik as followers. Shri Hamsa, Shri Dvitiye, Tubhyam Chanarad Visham Bhagavan Vivriddha Bhavena Sadhu Paritushta Uvacha Yogam Jnanam Cha Bhagavatamatma Satatpadipam Yadvasudeva Sharana Viduranjasaiva Iti. Sri Hamsa is described in the second canto. O Narada, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsavatar. He was very much pleased with you due to your resolute devotional service. The science of devotional service is especially understandable by persons who are surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. So he taught Tubhyam Cheti Chat Sanakadibhyaha. So he taught Narada, he taught the four Kumaras. So he was very pleased with Narada because of his enhanced love for him. Jnanam Chakidrisham, and he imparted knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Vishayakam. He gave him knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atmanaha, Jivasya, Yat, Satattvam, Swarupam. He also taught about the position of the living entities. Tasya Deepam, Tad Vishayakam Cha. Yat Vasudeva Sharanaha, Anjasaiva, Ayasam Vinaiva Vidam. Those who have surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva can easily understand this subject. Anyetu Kashtena api samyakna buddhyante iti bhava. It is implied that those who have not surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, even with great difficulty, find it difficult. They cannot completely, clearly understand this. The words Tubhyam Cha, to you also, imply that others besides Narada, namely the four Kumara brothers, were present and heard Lord Hamsa's instructions. Surrendered devotees of Vasudeva easily understand Viduranjasaiva, the pure devotion this incarnation taught. But those without strong faith in the Lord can understand it only with great difficulty and can never understand it completely. Shakto khila vivekeham shira nira vibhagavat iti vyanjan nayam raja hamso vyaktim jalad gataha. He appeared from the water as a regal swan, as if to say, just as I am able to separate milk from water, I am able to discern truth from all kinds of statements. This verse cleverly derives the name Hamsa from the two words Aham, I, and Shaktaha, able. In his teachings to Uddhava, Sri Krishna cites the instructions Lord Hamsa gave to Brahma and the Kumaras. In the Nimbarka line, they say that their line is coming from Hamsa, Lord Hamsa Avatar. Shri Dhruva Priyaha Tatraiva. This incarnation is named after his devotee. So he really likes Dhruva Maharaj very much. Viddhas sapatnyudita patribhir antiragyo balo pisannupagatas tapase vanani tasma ada dhruvagatim granate prasanno divyastu vanti munayo yadupar yadhastat iti. Shri Dhruva Priya is also described in the seventh chapter of the second canto. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by his stepmother in the presence of the king, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. The Lord was satisfied by his prayer and awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by the great sages above and below. So even though he was a child, because he was infuriated, agitated, pierced by the word like arrows of his mother's co-wife, Suruchi. And because he was a Kshatriya, he could not tolerate it. So he went to the forests to engage in austerities. And he prayed to the Supreme Lord. Tasmai Bhagavan Prasannasan Dhruvagatimata. Then the Supreme Lord, he was satisfied. He gave him a planet for him. Yat yam gatim uparistita bhrigvadayo divyastuvanti adhastitastu saptarshaya. Both sages above and below. Above Bhrigu and the others, and below the 7 sages. King Uttanapada was so intimidated by his wife Suruchi that he could not say anything when she insulted Dhruva, the son of his other wife. Due to his Kshatriya spirit, Dhruva could not tolerate being insulted even though only 5 years old, and so he at once left home. By good fortune, he met Sri Narada on the way, and under the saint's guidance, Dhruva performed austerities in the forest. After 6 months, his austerities became so severe that the well-being of the entire universe seemed threatened. At that time, Lord Vishnu appeared to Dhruva and awarded him a planet of his own to govern in the highest region of the universe. This history is narrated in the 8th and 9th chapters of the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the present verse, the sages above are the first sages in the universe. Brahma's sons, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vasishtha, Daksha, and Narada. The sages below are the 7 sages, Chitraketu, Suruchi, Viraja, Mitra, Ulbana, Vasubhrudyana, and Juvan, who are sons of Vasishtha and his wife, Arundhati. Thus, the sons of Brahma are above, and the second generation Saptarshis are below. Swayam bhuve vatarokter namnascha kathanadiha yagyadinam cha tatroktya parisheshya pramanataha prasiddhya prashnigarbheti tadakhyasya nigadyate hantaya madrityado padye govardhanadrivat. What is this? Swayambhuve. Just give me a minute. Let me. Swayambhuve. Okay. All right. All right. It's coming. It's coming. Nanvesha kim akasmat vaikunthad agatya dhruvaya varam datva tam agat kim va mata pitrubhyam asya abhivyaktirasti iti sandeho na nivartate Vakyat Vishesha Alabhat Ityatraha Swayambhuve. This Lord Dhruvapriya, who had appeared to Dhruva Maharaj, where did he come from? Did he directly come from Vaikuntha? And he gave Dhruva the benediction that he desired, that he had earlier desired, and then left back to the same Vaikuntha. Or did that Lord appear from a father and mother by appearing in this world? This doubt has not gone away. So in order to clarify this, he's speaking this. Considering that this avatar is said to have appeared in the Swayambhu and Manvantara, that he is not specifically named in this verse from the 2nd canto, chapter 7, and that each of the other incarnations, Yagya and so on, who appeared in that period are specifically named in that chapter. By elimination, we conclude that this must be the well-known avatar Prashnigarbha. This is the same kind of reasoning used to conclude that the hill referred to in the verse beginning Hantaya Madri Ravala Hridasavarya. Indeed, this is the hill, is Govardhan. From the Srimad Bhagavatam's description of Lord Vishnu's appearing before Dhruva, it is not clear whether the Lord came directly from Vaikuntha to bless Dhruva or instead took birth from a father and mother. Srila Rupa Goswami resolves this doubt using the technique known as Parisheshya Nyaya, or logic of the remainder. Okay, this will be explained. Lord Yagya and other incarnations who appeared during the Swayambhu Manvantara are all mentioned by name in the Bhagavatam. And except for Prashnigarbha, their pastimes are mentioned along with their names. However, the 2nd and 4th cantos do contain descriptions of an unnamed avatar who favored Dhruva during Swayambhuva Manu's reign. The blessing of Dhruva is not associated with any of the other avatar of this Manvantara, and therefore by Parisheshya Nyaya, the logic of the remainder, we can conclude that the blessing must have come from Lord Prishnigarbha. Another example of using this logic to identify a certain person from a description of his particular activities is found in the verse glorifying Govardhan Hill, spoken by the gopis when they were enchanted by the sound of Krishna's flute. Hantaya Madravala Haridasavaryo Yad Rama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayor Yat Pani Yasu Yavasakandara Kandamulai. Of all the best of all the devotees of Hari, this hill is the best. Oh, my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram along with their calves, cows, and cowherd friends with all kinds of necessities: water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respects to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, the hill appears very jubilant. The gopis do not mention the hill's name in this verse, but one can deduce from the context that they refer to none other than Giriraj, Govardhan. So, okay. Okay. Tatha Shri Dashame. Twameva Purva Sarge Bhuv Prishni Swayam Bhuve Sati Tadayam Sutapa Nama Prajapatir Mashaha. Thus it is said in the 10th canto, my dear mother, best of the chaste, in your previous birth in the Swayambhuva millennium, you were known as Prishni, and Vasudeva, who was the most pious Prajapati, was named Sutapa. I am Suto Vama Bhavam Prishnigarbha iti smritaha iti. I became your son, known in the scriptures as Prishnigarbha. Krishna spoke these words to his parents the night of his birth in Kamsa's dungeon. Asyatra charitanutya namanutya cha tatravai parasparam apekshitvad yukta cha ikatra sangatihi. Because these 10th canto verses do not describe Lord Prishnigarbha's activities, and because the above cited verse from the 2nd canto does not mention his name, we can reasonably combine these two complementary descriptions. Krishna's 10th canto statements and Brahma's brief description of Lord Dhruvapriya in the 2nd canto are consistent. Each supplies information missing in the other. Atra agamanamatreena yadi syad avatarata anyatrapi prasajyete yatheshtam tat prakalpana. If this instance of the Lord simply appearing to his devotee could be considered a separate incarnation, then many other similar appearances could be arbitrarily presumed to be separate incarnations. Someone may question why Lord Prishnigarbha's special appearance to encourage Dhruva should not be counted as a separate incarnation. The answer is that if this case were counted separately, then each time the Lord appeared to his various devotees, as Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna, for example, that could also be counted as a separate incarnation. So from this we understand that just as Krishna, he goes and meets Bahulashva, goes and meets Akrura, goes and meets Kubja, goes and meets the Pandavas, or Lord Ramachandra, he also goes and sees Guha, he sees different personalities. Each visit you cannot consider that to be a separate incarnation. Shri Rishabha, Shri Prathame, Ashtame Merudevyam tu Nabhir Jata Urukramaha, Darshayan Vartmadhiranam Sarvashrama Namaskritam iti. Shri Rishabha is described in the 1st canto. The 8th incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Nabhi, and his wife Merudevi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection that is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and that is honored by all orders of life. So this Nabhi was the son of Agnidra. Sarvashrama namaskritam dhiranam vartma paramahamsyashramam. So he showed the status of the Paramahamsa ashrama, which is the fourth ashrama, fourth stage. Utichaka, Bahutaka, Parivrajaka, Paramahamsa. These are the four stages of sannyas. So he demonstrated the fourth. He displayed activities of the fourth type. Okay, I think that we're done.